AITA for not allowing my mother's boyfriend at my wedding. My own mother tried to ruin my wedding. The day she broke down crying, accusing me of treating her like dirt just because I wouldn't invite her latest boyfriend, was just the beginning of a storm that would change everything, forcing me to confront years of unspoken pain. You see, my mom and we've never been close. Not really. When I was just 7, she divorced my dad and almost immediately remarried my stepfather, Mark. Now, despite everything that happened later, I actually grew very close to Mark. He was a real father figure. But then, when I was 16, she divorced him too. It hit me hard. I moved in with my dad and stepmom, who are truly wonderful people, and I stayed close with Mark, even going to his wedding to his current amazing wife. My mom, well, since her divorce from Mark, she's been in and out of relationships faster than I can keep track. Every single guy was the love of her life until he wasn't. And trust me, her reasons for divorce were always incredibly petty. My dad, I think, because he wouldn't let her get a new car when money was tight. It was a pattern, a cycle I'd watched for years. According to my sister, after I left home, Mom never did anything with me unless one of her boyfriends was tagging along. Around age 25, after a particularly messy breakup, she tried to cry on my shoulder about it. That was it. With the help of my therapist, I drew a line in the sand. I told her if she wasn't willing to spend time with me without a boyfriend, then don't bother. And I absolutely refused to discuss her love life. She was furious, deeply hurt, and we fell out for a while. But a year later, she came back, and to her credit, she actually respected that boundary. The catch: we only got together 3 or 4 times a year. I accepted it. I understood her relationships were important to her, so I respected our distance. Fast forward to this year. I'm 33, getting married in October to my partner of a decade, 35M. It's a small, intimate backyard wedding, about 40 people, here in our rural home. My dad, stepmom, stepdad Mark, and his wife are all invited. Naturally, my mom asked if she could bring her latest boyfriend. My stomach dropped. No, I said, I don't know him. She then offered to bring him by to meet me before the wedding, hoping I'd change my mind. Again, no. I made it clear I still had no interest in meeting any of her boyfriends. She claimed to understand, but then came the inevitable. She felt it was unfair that Dad and Mark got to bring their spouses, but she couldn't bring her +1. I explained the crucial difference. I know their spouses, Mom. That's when she really dug in, demanding to know why I was so adamant about refusing to get to know him. My patience, already thin, snapped. I told her point blank that I saw no need, because she'd just break up with him and move on to someone new eventually, just like she always did. That's when the tears started. She accused me of being unreasonable and treating her like a W******. My fiancé and sister, trying to be helpful, both felt I should just suck it up for one day and let him come so she'd be comfortable. I was seriously considering it, utterly exhausted by the drama, but a part of me raged against compromising on my own wedding day. After much thought, and honestly, a lot of sleepless nights poring over advice, I decided to email my mother and invite him. I was already leaning that way when I posted, wanting to keep the peace. But I laid down some very firm ground rules. He was there as her +1 only. I made it crystal clear. He is not my family, and he is not my stepfather. I expected her not to tell anyone at the wedding that he was. My real stepdad, Mark, would be there. He would not be in any family photos, just as Mark wouldn't be in photos with my parents, only my mom, dad, stepmom, and siblings. And most importantly, he was not to approach me at any point during the wedding or reception. This didn't change my previous boundaries. I was only allowing him for her comfort and a sense of fairness. I respected her relationship, but her love life had nothing to do with me, and I intended to keep it that way. I ended the email by telling her these were my final terms, and I hoped she could respect that I was trying to be reasonable. I even took the opportunity to remind her exactly why I'd set those boundaries in the first place. Her past of forcing me to do things with her short-term boyfriends, only ever wanting to discuss her love life while showing no interest in mine, and consistently putting her relationships above her own children. Within 10 minutes, my phone rang. It was Mom. She thanked me for allowing him to come, and promised they'd abide by my terms. Then the tone shifted. She said she felt really hurt that her actions during her midlife crisis were why I refused to meet her current boyfriend, who she claimed she'd been with for 7.5 years. She thought things would eventually calm down enough for me to feel comfortable. Now, she said, her voice breaking, I realize it will never happen. I just reiterated my firm stance. I think she started to cry, but she said she understood. Her reasoning for wanting him there? Being around my dad, married 23 years, and Mark, married 12 years, made her anxious, and this boyfriend helped keep her calm. She said she respected my stance, and that it was her own fault I felt this way. I immediately felt the familiar pull of a guilt trip, so I politely ended the call. It became painfully clear to me then, through a lot of self-reflection and candid conversations with others, why I was the way I was with my mother. Dealing with her was simply exhausting. My mom, to put it plainly, is a gold digger. And this isn't my dad or Mark talking. They're classy guys who would never say such a thing. This is my own conclusion. She used to say, regarding both divorces, I'd still be married if Dad/Mark just gave me what I wanted. She's even tried to start fights with my stepmom because she realizes my brother and I prefer her. It's true. My stepmom is my go-to for mom things because she actually listens and cares, and she doesn't make everything about herself. My mom, I believe, suffers from main character syndrome. She expects to be the center of attention at every event, and if she isn't, she gets drunk. Which brings me to the next point. My mom is an alcoholic. 8 years ago, she got a DUI, crashed into another car, and thankfully nobody was hurt. She doesn't drive anymore, lives an hour away in the city, and uses public transportation, but she still drinks a lot. At her height, it was roughly 3 bottles of wine a day. Another boundary I set years ago was that I wouldn't be around her if she'd been drinking, because it just stresses me out beyond belief. Honestly, I was anticipating a drunken scene at my wedding. There's more. 8 years ago, she slept with my brother's best friend. This was a boy my brother had known since preschool. It absolutely ruined their friendship, and 8 years later, my brother still won't forgive her. Mom thinks he just needs to get over himself, claiming she did nothing wrong. Technically, everyone was.